How to practice mindfulness of the mind without getting sucked in.
Yes, so being mindful includes awareness of the mind. Yeah, so if we are being mindful, there is an awareness of whatever's arising in the mind. Now, to be perfectly strict, welcome. Happy Saturday.
Thank you. I thought you started at 11.
Oh, that's okay. You've come at a great time. We're doing a little bit of question and answer, and then we'll do some more walking and sitting a little bit later.
So awareness of the mind, but also awareness of, you said that's part of it, awareness of the mind is part
Yes, if we're being most precise with our language, actually everything that you're aware of is arising in the mind. You know, if you think about if you think about how a sensation happens, you know, so let's say this gentleman just coughed, okay? So where did that happen for you? That didn't happen over there in this chair. It happened in your mind for you, correct? So here's the process. The gentleman coughs, and I hope you have good health. And there's not a cold dragging you down or anything. Yeah. So what happens is any noise, a cough, what's happening is there's a compression of airwaves, right? And it's sending these waves essentially of sound through the air that then stimulate a little bone in your ear, which then stimulates a nerve. That nerve then sends information to your brain, and your brain creates this image, so to speak, of sound. And that image of sound is arising in your mind, right? So to be most precise, anything that we can be aware of, the only place it's happening is in your mind. You don't know what's happening in this mind, right? You might have some guesses. You can guess that I'm seeing wonderful people here in the room, but you don't know precisely what's arising in this mind. All of your experience that you know happens in one place, and that's in your mind. So that's just to be most precise with the language. So coming back to what I think your intent is that are we supposed to be intentionally observing what we normally label the mind, which is where thinking happens? Or is it more of a body awareness, or is it more of awareness of sound? I mean, what are we trying to do with awareness, right? Is that probably more the intention of the question? Is that correct?
Yeah, kind of.
Okay, so what I would suggest is that awareness of the body is the easiest place to start. That's a very nice foundation. So when sitting still, it can be just awareness of the fact that we're sitting and this body of ours is breathing, right? So we're not focusing on anything in particular. We're not focusing on the breath. We're just noticing that I'm sitting here and I notice that there's breathing in and there's breathing out. And if you're really aware of what experience is like when you do that, you'll notice you are also aware of the mind and its thoughts. The moment that you become aware of the body and you're noticing what this body feels like, that it's breathing, as long as you're not focusing on anything, as long as it's just a noticing, you'll also notice that if a thought arises, you recognize, oh, there is a thought about this or that. And you're still hearing sounds, and you're being perfectly mindful at that point. So when sitting, that can just be a nice foundation of there's awareness of what is arising, not trying to notice anything. It's just natural. I mean, as we did this last week, but just you could try this right now in your mind. Just kind of silently note sitting in the chair doing nothing. You're just perfectly aware, right? Without trying to do anything. You're literally sitting, you just commanded yourself to sit and do nothing. And as soon as you did that, you're just aware without distraction, right? The trick is sustaining that. Because as we all know, after 6 or 7 seconds, maybe 2 seconds, depending on how busy our day was, we just go right back to talking to ourselves and identifying with our thinking. So the practices of having a foundation of, I know the body's breathing in, I know it's breathing out, Or as we're walking, I know that there's a foot hitting the ground, another foot hitting the ground, or I feel the muscles moving. In daily activities, that can be a wonderful way. I mean, it sounds almost trite, but when you're brushing your teeth, just brush your teeth. Well, what does that mean? It means when you're brushing your teeth, actually notice the muscles moving your toothbrush, right? Actually do it with some intentionality. You can actually turn brushing your teeth into an art form, like a Tai Chi movement, you know? That can, honestly, every activity of the day can be an opportunity to wake up to freedom, to mindfulness. And that's one simple way of doing it, is just do it with some intentionality. When you're walking, you move your legs. Don't let them just move on autopilot, right? And when you're brushing your teeth, you move the toothbrush back and forth. And as soon as you do that, it's not a strong effort. It's just, you're just noticing the muscles. You're doing it with some intentionality. You're also aware of the mind. Now, as we advance a little bit in the practice, as you continue to practice and you feel kind of grounded in that foundation of, all right, I'm noticing an in-breath, I'm noticing an out-breath, I'm not all over the place with my attention every 2 seconds, but if you get distracted every 10, 15 seconds, that's fine. But if you can sustain 10, 15, 30 seconds, something like that, without really being distracted, then you can actually start directing awareness to an individual thought. A thought that comes up about a person looking at me as I'm walking. And you can bring it up intentionally and just hold it in awareness. And you'll notice that there's no reality to it. The moment you bring it up and you just look at it, within a second or 2 seconds, it's gone. It's kind of like, do any of you have small children? I know you've had small children. You two used to be small, right? Now you're as tall as me, probably. Oh. But when children are small, sometimes if we're not giving them our attention, what they'll do is they'll come up and they'll tug at a pants leg, or they'll say "mommy, daddy," and they keep saying it. And all you have to do is just look at them and say, "Yes, dear, what do you need?" And half the time, they just say nothing. They just wanted you to be aware that they were there, and then they go off and play. The thinking is kind of like that. If we direct awareness intentionally towards a thought, or the way it kind of is seen in my experience is, thoughts always seem as though they're on the periphery, and then they kind of suck us in and we're identified with them. Any of these thoughts that are on the periphery, intentionally bring it up and I try to hold it right here. It's as though I'm looking at the child and saying, "Yes, yes, dear." And as soon as I say, "Yes, yes, dear, what do you need?" It's gone. So I'm not suggesting that you do that all the time, or that that's what the practice is, but that it can be a skillful means if we feel like we have some ability to sustain awareness moment to moment. That can be a very skillful means of recognizing very clearly that these thoughts in our heads are not what we are. These are things that just arise and pass away. Hello, my friend, and thank you for taking a minute to check out this video here at the Mindfulness Edge. I hope that you enjoyed it and found it helpful. Please feel free to leave any questions that you have about the practice down in the comment section below if you think I could be of help. I do my best to answer as many of those questions as I can, and I enjoy helping wherever I can. If you found the video helpful, please feel free to subscribe to this channel and make sure that you never miss any of the videos that we post. And you could also feel free to go ahead and hit that little like button. That will help other people to see this video, and hopefully it will be of help to them as well. And if you like, I have a little gift for you. If you head on over to themindfulnessedge.com, I'd be happy to give you free sample chapters of my book called The Mindfulness Edge. So until next time, I hope you are well.